So Michiel Kick defines sustainable engineering as the design. I would just like to highlight the phrases that he used. The design of human and industrial systems, the quality of life, and then the future economic opportunities, and then the social conditions and the environment. These would comprise the three important dimensions of sustainable development. So you have the ecological or environmental, you have the economic, and then you have the social. Now, as chemical engineers also, you consider the design of human and industrial system. So you need to go back to your ecological knowledge or principles that you have learned in ecology or in your biology. And then we try to integrate it with another sphere. And that is what we call technosphere. So you have your ecosystem with the following matrices, such as air, that's your atmosphere. You have your water, the hydrosphere, and then you have the land, the lithosphere. All of this are actually interacting with the biosphere. So when all this interact with another sphere that we introduce, which we call technosphere, this is what we call actually as industrial system. Or this brings to the science of sustainable development, which is industrial ecology. I have here some engineering functions wherein you can have your specific sustainability concepts be applied. Namely, in industry, you can have it in petroleum refinery, in planning, open pit and underground mining operations. You could also do it in petroleum engineering and then the design of offshore oil platforms. And then you also can make use of it in water resource planning of all kinds, such as dams, irrigation systems, and wells. Now, this part is actually the one you're interested in. Take note of the different processes that is involved in the manufacturing plants, and later you will find out that sustainable development or the concept of this principle can be applied in each of these parts. Now, particularly in the process and modifying resources, we utilize this in developing instrumentation to measure and monitor pollution. Also, not only chemical engineers but also ECE can apply their knowledge in engineering by developing a certain instrumentation, because the trend now is to sense the different contaminants in wastewater treatment plant so as to make the monitoring more precise and more accurate. And then also, you can make use of it to reduce the use of energy and other resources. We all know that energy is one of the most important resources in any industrial plant. You also have to consider the total input and output over their complete life cycles, just as I have mentioned about a particular product you are designing. And of course, designing products and packaging for reuse or resource recovery. Our objective in applying the concept of sustainable development is to come up with a closed-loop system. Now, it's also a trend in the industry to have such eco-parks. Now, what are eco-parks? Industries and establishments have gone to a certain place, which we call eco-park. Then they collaborate by working together to solve the problem on environmental degradation. So how do they do that? They use the industry's waste products as a raw material of another establishment. So let's say you have company A, company B, company C, and D grouped together in a particular area, such as, let's say, Laguna. So company A waste would be probably utilized as a raw material of company B. This principle is actually what we call waste exchange system. So for this particular application of sustainability, this makes possible more efficient use of waste heating and cooling water, aside from the waste exchange system. So for example, in Laguna, we have a central wastewater treatment plant, the Camel Ray, which treats all the wastewater coming from the different locators. The establishments are called locators. So that diminishes the putting up of more wastewater treatment plant. That would also reduce the consumption of energy as well as some of the resource materials. And also in processing and modifying resources, you could also have restoring and modifying old industrial sites for particular usage. Now, I have placed this slide for you to take note that you could be a sustainable manager. Now, how would you be one? These are the specific responsibilities that I have taken from a job seeking site. So if you're already finished with this course, specifically if you know how to ensure requirements on safety, health, and environment, which you would learn in this course, you could already be hired as a sustainable manager. This is just to highlight that the current trend in the industry now is to integrate sustainability with engineering principles.